inside Jason's mind. Inside Jason's mind. Inside Jason's mind. Inside Jason's mind. Jason's mind. All opinions and statements made in this podcast are for comedy purposes only. All topics discussed are hypothetical and are not to be taken seriously. Seriously. Transmission over.
You're inside Jason's mind. What is the point of life? I think there could be a million answers out there for that one question. But have you ever really thought about what the point of life is? Like, what it's all for? And like for more than 5 seconds on your way to work, when you're like cussing at yourself or in your mind or out loud or whatever, you're just cussing about showing up to work in 10 minutes. Oh, I can't believe I gotta fucking go to this job. I don't know. Do you ever think about, well, I've had people, I've asked them that kind of a question, well, what's the point of life, just to get up and go to the same job until, you retire or die. And I've had someone say, well, what would you do without work? And that is the question that I would expect for most people, and it's kind of a sad question to hear back in response to that, is because that's someone who has been stuck and is still kind of stuck in the 9-to-5 paradigm, the rat race and chasing money.
You'll never catch me, and if you do, you'll just want more and more and more of me. I'm not the root of all evil. I'm the carrot being held in front of you while you run in place on the treadmill we call life. Save me, invest me into real estate or stocks, put me towards your robot child's quote-unquote education for college, another word for debt. I am money.
All for what, Well, I'll tell you what for in a minute, but let me get back to the point at hand, which is, what would we do otherwise? What would we do if we didn't have a job to go do? And this is what I told that person as well. What if you enjoyed woodworking? Okay, say you used to enjoy building furniture. And just ask anyone. Be like, if you didn't have a phone in your hand, what were you doing 5 years ago before phones were so damn important that we just had to have them all seconds and minutes of the day? What's something you enjoy doing? Bird watching. Okay, do you have a pair of binoculars? No, they're too expensive. Well, how much you spend on that fucking TV that you have there, that 70-inch flat screen smart TV? Oh, well, they were on sale for $799.99. So you can spend $800 on a fucking TV or a phone. Hell, fucking iPhones are just as expensive, if not more, than a TV. But you can't afford a $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $100 pair of binoculars to go birdwatch. That's the thing you have to think about. What were some hobbies you were doing before? I know when I was a kid, we were out going down trails, out in wooded areas. We were exploring. We played some video games. I mean, of course that comes into play, when you're a kid at some point. But we were more often than not, we were outside skateboarding, riding bikes. I don't know, man. Just having the time of our lives where life was so much different. And now, you hear of people that have, bipolar or severe depression, severe anxiety, or not even severe, just to some level, people have a mental illness, air quotes around mental illness. and I'm not a doctor, and I don't claim to be one. I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I see things for what they are through my own eyes and my own mind, and so that's a great thing. Whether or not it's true, scientifically, I don't know. But what I'm getting at is I think that all of these mental issues are man-made, not necessarily in our minds. I mean, obviously, well, that they can be to a certain effect. Our minds do have a strong effect on our everyday life, obviously, but I think they're just coining terms, and it's like, well, what do you think's going to happen when you wake up and it's moving in? It sounds more like people are wanting 6 days a week of work. A company wants you to work 6 days a week. I say fuck that. Never, ever, ever am I going to give that much time to a piece of shit company who's what? Oh, they're doing me the favor of paying me time and a half after 40 hours? Fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Not for me. I could care less about that. But when you're on the way to that job that causes stress, you're stuck in traffic that causes stress. You're around people that cause stress, because it's going to happen in large groups. And where are there large groups other than workplaces, or even a small group? 10 people, you can find 8 assholes out of that. Maybe not, but 5. All I'm saying is everyday life that we're expected to go out and live and do and whatnot. It's so damn stressful. How could we not have these quote unquote mental issues? Are some of them genetic? I don't know. I don't have a clue. But I can tell you this: I've had to be put on anxiety medication. I didn't have to, but I felt like at that point in time that was kind of my way of helping the situation. Because of the job I was at, I was on anxiety medication. I mean, how horrible is that to take a poison, because that's what pharmaceuticals are, and have to take that in order just to calm my nervous system down, or whatever the fuck. Insane. Brought on by stress, induced by work. And now for some quotes from actual workers. If you're not 5 minutes early, you're late. You have to work 60 hours a week just to make it. But that's life, buddy. I love overtime. It's way better than family time. I fear my bosses and managers. I mean, they make $1 more an hour than I do. Ooh, work is super cool, dude. If I stay at the same job for 30 years, I'll retire with a pension plan and 401k. Now that's motivating. Time and a half is the bee's knees. Give me more, please. I love work. Someone else tells me what to do, and I don't have to think. I just have to do the same repetitive thing over and over and over. What's not to love? After taxes, gas, and child support comes out of my check, I still have $200 left. Woohoo! Oh wait, I still have bills to pay. Loan time. Or stress-induced work. I don't know, stress-induced work. Work-induced stress. That sounds like it. But I just want to throw that out there. I don't know why. But back to the point of life. I mean, here's what I can say right now. If you want to say, well, Jason, you asked the questions. Why don't you try to give an answer? Well, let me give it a shot here. What's the point of life? I think when you go through all the bullshit of working, and you get those little breaks we call the weekend. I hate to keep going back to work so much, but it's been a thing it's really on my mind all the time, because I hate to see people live their life like worker ants. But we find on the weekends the things that we like to do and we enjoy, and it gets us away from our mind, mentally and physically. We get away by, say, going to the beach, going fishing, going camping. Anything that gets us really out of being in our house, right? Because we come home every day after work, or a lot of us do, just to, be home. Well, what about those things you enjoy doing? Like recently, I said this on my last podcast, is I like, planting stuff. Right now I'm dealing with uh, blue curl kale, microgreens, and the full, I'm going to do full grown kale as well. Update. All of the kale is dead. I am no longer growing anything green. Transmission over. A few different types of, we got cactus, different aloe vera, various other succulents and things, just because I find them to be fairly easy to grow. We're trying to grow a pineapple. That's going to be about 3 years if we're even successful. Sorry to keep listing shit off, but let's just stick with that. I mean, I enjoy planting, and I actually do, because I'm the type of person that I want to break away from having to ever work for another person again, and I want to be self-sufficient, self-sustaining. I want to start, multiple small businesses, but one of them being, growing and selling aloe vera, cactus, succulents, and just all that kind of stuff. I think they're awesome. I think they're cool. They're popular, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because they're just, I like plants, man. What I'm getting at is you can find things that you enjoy doing that can make you money, but it's so hard to break away from the same old. I'm not happy, but I'm secure, because I know that every week I'm going to have an X amount of money, coming in my paycheck. Well, fuck, is that worth your time? Is it worth your unhappiness to all of those out there who don't like their jobs, the ones who wake up every day and on the way to work, punching the steering wheel and shit? I don't know. I know I've done it. Just every time a street comes up, you're like, man, should I just turn and take that street and just say fuck it today? No, because I'm expected to go to work. Well, I'm gonna tell you, man, if you can deal with all that bullshit, this is another duality, which is a good segue, is you got the bullshit side of life, which is all of that I just went through, and you've got the good side of life, the things that aren't bullshit. Planting things, music production, video editing, photography, these telescope research. I know that's just a fancy way to say I looked through this thing here at that thing there up in the sky, and it looks really close. Anyway, these are all things that I do as hobbies, but I mean, for the amount of money that I spend on my stuff, Jesus, I should be making money. I mean, my telescope costs way more than my fucking airless sprayer for painting houses. Everything you ever wanted. There's no rebellion at your vet. Everything you ever wanted. Everything you ever wanted. There's no rebellion at your vet. Everything you ever wanted. Everything you ever wanted. There's no rebellion at your vet. There's no rebellion at your vet. The illusion of time. Inside Jason.
Everything you ever wanted. This is no, we're voting at your vet. Everything you ever wanted. 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 This is no, we're voting at your vet. Everything you ever wanted.
Oh my God, you're so awesome. I just kind of spaced out for a minute. Yeah, I mean, and so if I'm willing to make money with a airless sprayer, why can't I find a way to go do it with a telescope? I mean, it's a nice, expensive piece of equipment. It does a lot of different things. Plus, I can attach my camera, my DSLR camera to it, and take just absolutely amazing photos. I mean, and from each photo, I can zoom in, zoom out. I can crop. I mean, one photo can potentially be another 10 photos. It's such an awesome artistic creative thing, and just everything I'm talking about. I mean, making the podcast, I invite everyone to do that, because I hold strong and true to what I'm about to say next, and that is this: no one needs to go pay for counseling. Sit in a room by yourself, door shut, no sound on, and you're going to go, I don't want to hear myself back. Why am I going to record myself? I'm never going to listen to it. Do it. Just do it the one time, because as uncomfortable as it's going to be, 2 minutes or 3 minutes into your recording of you listening to yourself talking, you're going to stop caring about what you sound like. It's going to become normal, because I was exactly like this. And then I started listening back to myself and going, well, fuck, wow, I never thought about it like that. I listened to myself as if I was someone I didn't know, okay? And when I listened back, I realized, I was like, what the fuck am I? Number one, I don't like counseling, because I'm not saying that these people don't have life experience. Obviously, we all do, right? We all live and experience different things every day, whatever. I just don't need somebody who went to school for it and has a little piece of paper that they call a certificate on their wall, saying that they're qualified or certified or whatever it is to counsel people. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, is I do stutter a lot. I kind of track off. I maybe talk too fast. But look, if you want counseling free, I'll counsel you for free. Over the phone or via email or snail mail. I don't care. Because you know what? If you can't do it yourself, my whole point in this is you can do it yourself. You don't need to pay for counseling. Talk in your room, record it, listen back. See if you don't get something beneficial from it. Because not only are you able to vent without having someone judge you or make faces or stop you and say, hey, I think you're getting off track, that you can't throw a wrench in someone's process of venting or talking or whatever. Because even what I'm doing right now is really, I'm just getting things out that are on my mind. Whereas if I held them back, it would do one of two things. It would either be detrimental, or it would just be a lost thought that it was potentially something that is now nothing because I let it slide or pass me by. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Thought. That's another good thing, is you can think of this as audio journaling. So anyway, I just definitely do some podcast stuff. I mean, it's so creative. It lets you bring your creativity out. Here's something you don't always talk about every day, and it is becoming popular. They've got documentaries on Netflix about it. Duncan Trussell has come out with his series called The Midnight Gospel on Netflix, which is definitely about it. And it's who hasn't heard a TED Talk about it? What is it? It's psychedelics, man. Like, for real. It's psychedelics, man. Psychedelics is what the DEA is deeming Man, I don't, and I'm not gonna, like, when I'm on my phone doing this, I'm not gonna go clicking around on the computer doing research. Fuck that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think they're calling it a Schedule 2 drug. Maybe, I don't know which one's worse. Either way, the schedule they're putting psychedelics under, meaning LSD, DMT, mushrooms. Well, you fill in the blanks and stuff. Ayahuasca. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know if that's listed because. Anyway, moving on. Those are scheduled to, I think, and what that is saying they have no medicinal use. Which is funny, is because they are using psilocybin, which comes from mushrooms, certain kinds of mushrooms, about 180 different species of mushrooms, which have psychedelic properties in them. But they're using that for people with terminal illnesses that know they're going to die, and, well, what they're going to die from, and kind of probably almost know when they're going to die to some extent. They're helping them be able to kind of cope with that reality that we're all going to die, right? We already know that we're all going to die, but these people, like, know they're going to die from fucking brain cancer or something. Well, it's not looking good. You've got about 3 months max, so, don't expect a full 3 months. That's the most. And those kind of people are sitting there going, oh my goodness, every day that they're just in shock, I can only imagine. And they're able to help these people mentally with, from what I hear anyway, with the psilocybin. Simply amazing. LSD, I can't speak to the scientific studies or anything on that. I know man. We might not be hearing about them. I guarantee you that shit never has stopped being experimented with, guaranteed. But another, had I said it earlier and kind of actually literally segued into it, it would have been a great segue. But with the talking about the depression and mental illness, that type of bullshit, and going into the psychedelics, they hypothetically have changed my life had I ever have taken such a substance before, and I never would, never will, because they're illegal. But once again, this is a comedy podcast. It's all hypothetical situations, but based off original skits. Some are written down, some are off the top of the head. We'll be here every week for as long as I feel like it. I am lazy sometimes I move on to other projects. Anyway, I hope I slipped you up a little bit. Let's get back to psychedelics. So mushrooms are super dope. They definitely do a lot of great things. Let me tell you what they don't do. Is that the right way to put it? Doesn't matter. They don't give you a bad trip. If you've ever taken mushrooms and you've had a bad trip because you were crying, it wasn't a bad trip. You ever not taken mushrooms because a friend of a friend said, oh, my sister, so we're going like fourth party here, third party, or whatever. My sister said that she had a bad trip and she'll never take mushrooms again. Look, I don't know what this is about people wanting to cop out with some kind of bullshit excuse like that. Well, it's that, and literally the definition here being of ignorant, being not, just not knowing or not having the knowledge of, I guess. Well, that's my fucking definition. How about that? People are too ignorant for their own fucking good sometimes. I mean, that's not stupid. I didn't say too stupid now. I said too ignorant. And if you're going to take something, you should have some type of knowledge about it. You're not going to go, I would hope, go fucking with a stick of dynamite out into a field and just light the motherfucker and hope everything goes good. I would try to at least research it some. That's just me, though. But anyway, Jason's mind and Jason are not comparing mushrooms and a stick of dynamite to each other. Dynamite bad, mushrooms neato. Back to there's no bad trips on a psychedelic. On a psychedelic. But let me just talk about mushrooms, okay? When you feel like you're having a bad trip, you're not. It is because all of the shit that you push back into the back of your mind, you're mad and you're angry, or there's a death, maybe a sibling, a mother, a father, someone died and you can't let go of it. And what happens with mushrooms is you are going through therapy. That's what you need to understand. You can say, oh, it's just kids doing high school recreational drugs. They never did grow out of it. No. The people saying that didn't fucking mature because that's bullshit. You've all been lied to by, definitely by the government or anyone who says anything negative about it, because what it is that person is either A, never done it, or B, they've done it once or twice in very, very small doses. There is such a thing as called riding the fence, which I like. That's my definition of it. And what that means is when you take too little, your mind is fucking with you. You're in a realm of you're in a realm that the psilocybin takes you to, but only one foot. The other foot's in quote unquote reality, what you're used to. That's no good, because even for someone who hypothetically um, takes much higher doses than most people and more frequently, I can hypothetically tell you that that's not a good thing either. But anyway, what I'm saying, there is such a thing as too little, guaranteed. I know it sounds funny, but I promise you. Where was I at? No bad trips. Okay, so I mean, one of my last trips that I remember real specifically, I was getting ready to start a job, and it was working with a group of guys, construction work. My anxiety was off the roof. It was just out of this fucking world, man. I just couldn't believe and plus I was pissed. Well, I was tripping hard that night, and I was flying, dude, just having the time of my life, watching the Midnight Gospel, laughing until I had to pause the show, and I was laughing so hard, and I was trying my hardest because I was out of breath, and I was literally to myself, I can't anymore, I just can't. I was having the time of my fucking life. But within 15 minutes of that moment, I was crying like I had never cried fucking before. And it felt great, man.
Cry, a river. Cry, 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 a river. Cry, 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 a river.
Then I'll sail down an Anya river of tears.
It was me dealing with my bullshit, because as much as I was laughing and having a good time, what ended up happening is I was having like a counseling session within my own head. And it's, and I'm not ashamed to say it, you know what I mean? I'm not ashamed to say that I've done some psychedelics.
Hypothetically speaking.
That, the amount or whatever it is, that I've had some life-changing, in a positive way, life-changing events, life-changing thoughts. The way my thoughts are I wouldn't say necessarily different, but they're more clear. There's after doing it multiple times, and I'm not talking about once or twice a year, I mean like weekly.
Hypothetically sneaky.
Waiting no longer than every 2 weeks. It's a good refresh for the mind. It's natural. And so and another thing, that's what I wanted to tell you too, because I've heard this too, is if anyone tells you that, well, the psilocybin is just the poison of the mushroom poisoning you. Look, and this is a topic we're going to move on to soon, but pharmaceuticals are poison. Things that when you take them for extended periods of time, and we're not talking about we're not talking about 5 or 10 of them, we're talking about one every single day, and it affects your liver in a very negative way. That's medicine. Why? Because a doctor prescribes it. Oh, you mean the doctors that get paid to push specific medications that the pharmaceutical companies give them to push? A doctor, look, we all know this. The nurses are the ones who do the fucking work. The nurses are the one who fucking come in and really fucking save your life. The doctors are just fucking pill pushers. They're allowed to legally sell drugs through a hospital. They've got it made. they're immune to any fucking scrutiny or any of society any of society who hasn't fucking woken up, because I've definitely woken up, but the rest of them, they're accepting it. Society's accepting this and saying they're not drug dealers, they're doctors. No, they're fucking band-aid, they're band-aid appliers, okay? At best. And what do I mean by that? Well, obviously I don't mean literally putting band-aids on, even though, I'm sure they do that to some extent and stuff. But what I mean is you're gonna sit here and you're gonna continuously give me a medication that is going to, yeah, it's gonna, at the face value of it, it's treating the symptoms for a specific amount of time. But if you don't continue taking this medication, the treatment of those symptoms will go away, and you'll just have those symptoms come right back. So what I'm saying is doctors are giving us something that we always have to come back for, because why? The money is in the medicine, not in the cure. You cure something, then you don't have people coming back and eating fucking pills.
And now, for some reason, I go on a rant about tools.
Or like I've talked about, recently with a friend of mine. It's just a very quick conversation, but still relevant to what we're talking about here. Back in the day, we all know this, man. You got handed down a tool from your grandfather that gave it to his father, or your father, and then your father gives it to you or something, and it still like works great. That's called good craftsmanship. What do you get now? You get tools that it's like they scientifically designed them to break in 3 months or less. So what I'm saying is, if you get a tool from Craftsman or Black & Decker, those are both considered probably fairly cheap brands, but let's just go with Craftsman. You go to Craftsman and you buy a tool that costs $50 and you still have it 10 years later. Well, Craftsman's only banking on you buying saw blades or accessories for that thing. There's money in it, yeah, but goddamn, if they sell you something that works too good, you're not going to come back and buy another one, well, unless you need it. But what I'm saying is, it's like they're designing things to break, so you only get to use them for so long, and you have to go back and buy a whole brand new one. Things aren't as fixable as they once were. It almost gets to the point where it's just easier and cheaper. Well, it's easier and cheaper and it's just less hassle to go buy a new one. I really did fly off and kind of, kind of went out there in left field and zoned out. And so I'm not gonna sit here and try to, be real smooth and go back into what I was talking about originally, because is there ever an original thing I was talking about? Kind of, they're true medicine. They are something that, number one, for me personally, and I think for other people I've talked to, is they don't make you want to fuck with technology. Maybe not at first anyway. There does come a time during your peak where hey, let's go clubbing. Let's go, but definitely don't do that. Don't drive on it or anything like that. It's not that kind of thing. It's not that kind of, anyway. You want to look into the rules and regulations of taking a psilocybin journey. You do that on your time. That's not for me to tell you, because if you're interested. Anyway, it's medicine. It takes off, it lifts the veil of bullshit that everyday life pulls over us. If you ever get a chance and check out ODD TV's YouTube channel and just check out, or just type in the search bar ODD TV Illusions, you'll see it's a great video to watch, and that's why I bring it up. Great song too, but a great fucking video to watch. And the video has a specific area, I think it's right in the beginning. They got people standing in lines, and then this box, this like fucking 3D or whatever box comes down over their heads, and it's like,
We live in a box. We talk on a box. We drive to our jobs in a box. Our jobs are usually in a box, in which we work in a much smaller box within the larger box called a cubicle. Seems to be a box lifestyle we're living. Live outside the box.
That's what I'm talking about. That's that veil being pulled over your mind, your eyes, your thoughts, your everything with TV and social media and movies and just all that bullshit. And what psychedelics do is they remove that. They're boop 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 boop. They're a BS detector. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit alert. And that's the truth, man. I guarantee you, if you and another person are taking a journey together, and a third person comes into the picture who is not, you're gonna be able to tell at that point if they're full of shit. And I'm not saying you're gonna be an asshole. I'm just saying you're able to you really are in touch with things. You are truly at one with your mind. And psychedelic, you're going to look it up on the internet, and it's going to say a bunch of stupid shit involving, drug-related bullshit. Psychedelics means to the mind revealing, or mind revealing itself, mind manifesting. That's the coolest way to put it, man. Mind manifesting, the mind to show itself, right? So that's what psychedelics do, is they take you away from this world that we're all living in, and well, let's just say in America, because that's where I live, in the United States of America.
I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Well, it's actually slavery. And justice for all. Thank you.
It's a thing that people know so little about, and are so quick to shoot down the opportunity to try it based off of words. And it's like I've described this before. Okay, you've never tasted a purple grape. You go to the store, you buy these purple grapes, you're so excited, you've heard great things, and then you get back and your roommate says, "What are those?" And they say, "Purple grapes," and they say, "No, you can't eat those. Those will kill you." And they're like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Nope, I'm telling you, I've heard from people that if you eat those, that they'll kill you, man. You can't eat purple grapes." And you sit there and you're say you're like 30. And so you're like, "Wow, man, I'm so glad he told me about that. I shouldn't, what was I thinking?" But now I know to tell other people not to eat purple grapes, right? Then you get to being 90 and you're like, "You know what? I'm about to die. I'm fucking old. I don't care about shit anymore." I'm kidding, but you're just like, you get to being old and you're like, "Fuck it, I'm going to try these red grapes. If it kills me, I've had a long life." You try this red grape and it's the sweetest, juiciest, most delicious, that's not a word, take away the T, the most delicious piece of fruit or food that you've ever had in your life. And you sit there and you just can't believe, you're in tears how good this tastes. And you sit there and you go, "Why would somebody lie to me and tell me this is bad for me when it's clearly not bad?" That's because that person never tried a red grape. You know what? It's because that person who told you that red grapes were bad, they were told the same thing. It was the game of telephone, and it ruined this great potential. Someone passed up in their life that could have changed their life. The red grapes in this story are psychedelics. They're psilocybin mushrooms. Well, there's other types too, but let's just talk about the psychedelic mushrooms, man. That's the red grape in this story. People are going to tell you that mushrooms aren't good. Mushrooms are bad for you. That's why they're illegal. No, they're illegal for one reason. I'm going to tell you what that reason is. Because you can go to any convenience store, grocery store, whatever, buy wine, beer, I don't know, depending on where you live, liquor, sold there. But I mean, you can go cigarettes. All these things are proven to be negative and detrimental to health. I mean, if anyone listening has ever drank to the point of just blackout drunkenness,
I know I've had some of my best moments of clarity during blackout drunkenness. Absolutely inspirational. Let's move on.
do you think you were, I mean, do you think when you were sitting there slobbering out the food that you were shoving into your mouth while you were trying to talk to people and someone recorded you on the ground leaning up against a cop car, eating a Subway sandwich or something, I mean, and they're sitting recording you, does that seem like a substance that should be legal? Oh, well, it's not up, I mean, that person took it too far. Okay, the point is, alcohol is something that kills tons of people a year because they think they're better drivers on it. Alcohol is something that starts a lot of confrontation and ends up in fistfights. Alcohol causes a lot of arguments. Alcohol makes people angry, sad. It does a lot of different things, and it's so readily available. It's poison. Alcohol is made by fermentation, by things breaking down and rotting and fermenting and shit. You're drinking death in a sense. Nicotine. You're smoking. You're smoking chemicals. I smoke cigarettes. I know that I'm not smoking good shit. The government says this is okay. 600 chemicals sprayed all over your fucking nicotine and tobacco, whatever. You smoke, yeah, sell that shit to them, no problem. Alcohol, oh, there's that many people down here from car wrecks due to alcohol and other stuff, cirrhosis of the liver, blah, 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 blah. Just list off all the negative things you've ever seen or dealt with in your life with alcohol. Your government says those are okay.
Now some quotes from actual alcoholics. I work my ass off. I deserve a cold one at the end of the day. It's only a 12-pack after all. America. Yeah, I go to work hungover every day, but it's still safer than doing pot. Drinking is socially acceptable. Doing drugs like mushrooms, LSD, and smoking the pot all make you think for yourself and in a much more creative way. That's fucking stupid. Gulp, 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 gulp. Durr, alcohol. A glass of wine a day keeps the doctor away. So surely a bottle a day will keep that sumbitch doctor away for good. 6 months later. Chet, you have cirrhosis of the liver. It's not looking good. But doc, I drank in excess every day. Well, at least you weren't taking the pot. Here, take these pills. Fucking drug addicts. Always eating mushrooms and smoking the pot. I say, hang all these free-thinking, tree-hugging millennial hippies. Hey, where's my beer, bitch? I had the opportunity to do acid once, but I went to the strip club with my buddies instead to get shit-faced drunk. Boy, I'm glad I did because I cheated on my girlfriend with a hot stripper, and when I woke up the next day, I didn't even feel bad about it. I just took another shot and drank on my way to work. That's the American way. Beer, good. Work, good. Bills, good. Government, good. Drugs, bad. Say no to the pot and other various mind-expanding substances. For more information, go to www.closemindedamerica.org/freedom/mind control/wayfairsalespeople.net. On alcohol, I only swerve a little while driving or hit an animal or two on purpose, but could you imagine eating the LSD or smoking the ganja? I might turn into an Islamic terrorist. This message brought to you by the US government.
Okay, now let me tell you why psychedelics are illegal. They lift the veil, they're bullshit detectors, they let you into your own mind and fix things that are broken. Fix things that other people will tell you you need to go get help, you need to go to a psych ward, you need to go to a counselor, you need to pay someone else to have them tell you what is best in your life, even though they don't have a clue how your life is once you walk out of that counselor room door. Once they get their money, they don't care about you until you come back in that door, because they know that $100 that you're gonna put in their pocket for an hour of their time is well worth it for them. And what do you get? You get some kind of bullshit homework that they print out and literally go and ask you to I mean, it's elementary school type of shit they try to tell you to do. They make it so simple, it's like people like me sit there and think, well, how the fuck is this ever going to help me? Oh, it takes time. Well, yeah, of course it does, because if I only needed fucking 2 or 3 sessions, you wouldn't be able to make a living. Of course you're going to tell me it takes time. It didn't take a few days to get this way. It's not going to take a few days to get fixed, you know? Yeah, I understand that, but there's a lot better ways, and those ways are psychedelics, hypothetically. Once again, want to make this known: comedy podcast Inside Jason's Mind, where we don't incite violence, or we don't promote the use of drugs, especially pharmaceuticals, because those are actually drugs. Weed as medicine. That's right, I said it. I'm not going to call it marijuana, because I don't call it that. I don't think I've called it marijuana for years. When's the last time I said marijuana besides just 5 seconds ago? Fuck, I don't know, dude. I don't use that. So we're going to say weed as medicine. Well, once again, guys, I'm not a doctor. Don't claim to be, and this is not medical advice, but it works for me, hypothetically. Weed is something I think is great. Well, you can ask a bunch of people about what it does for their PTSD. They've had a real traumatic experience in their life, and I've got PTSD. If you want to put a label on it, it's just something that we can all refer back to, I guess. But I've definitely got PTSD from some stuff, and it's not from going to war or anything like that. I've not ever been to war, but just asking people who have been to war, you can see a lot of veterans and a lot of people throughout this world. They smoke weed. It is so beneficial. There are different strains. There are different strengths as well. There are some that are, what I like to refer to as, daytime weeds. They're good. They don't have you wanting to sleep and go sit on the couch and be lazy. But then there are the ones that do that. And those are good for people like me, because I'm a real high strung person, man. Very high strung, high anxiety levels. But I'm working on that, and it's actually going pretty well. I've calmed down a lot in the past 6 months even, and that's a lot thanks to weed. What else can you say whenever it's something that's slow? Hey, my cat's over here using my arm as a pincushion, and well, anyway. But I mean, it's slowly but surely becoming legalized, and yeah, I keep hearing the same old bullshit, but not on a federal level. Well, guess what, dude? It's still getting sold, and their shops aren't getting shut down from what I can see, so, it's not like it used to be. I mean, things are definitely turning around with weed, and I suggest if anyone thinks weed is a drug in a negative way, that you need to rethink that, because it's 2020. not 1930. And if you've been born, like, if you're, dude, especially if you're born like in 2000 or above and you think weed's a drug, get the fuck out of here, dude, for real. Like, that's even worse. If you're like young and you think weed's bad, you're a prude, and I'm not saying that in an offensive way. That's just to let you know, because someone's got to say it. Someone's got to say it. You know, I don't even know if I want to keep talking about weed. It's not that it's boring to talk about to me. It's just that it's just a part of my hypothetical everyday life, and I think it should be part of everyone's. You got arthritis? There's a strain out there for you. Yep. There's definitely a strain out. You having a hard time eating food?
There's a new drug for anorexia, but you have to take it with food.
There's a strain out there that's gonna give you the munchies. Insomnia. Fill in the blank, man. It's the same thing. There's a strain out there for you. But what's funny to me is when we talk about psychedelics, we talk about weed. It's like something that everyone feels like you gotta whisper about, right? Can't talk loud about it, gotta whisper about it. It's because it's illegal. According to who? Well, our government. Oh, you mean the same government that steals all of our money and then just says, yeah, but look at these roads we give you. Look at all this stuff. Yeah, okay, but do we really know where all the money's going? Oh, they're taking, all this property taxes going to help our schools. Do we really know how much of that money is going? No, we don't. Come on, guys. We're being ripped off and lied to every day, and you want to trust these people on some level? Well, I'll tell you what. You send me a money order or cashier's check for $1,000, and I will give you a free class on how to make $1,000. I'm telling you, can't lose. You cannot lose on this deal. I mean, does that sound like a good deal to you? Oh gosh, my cat fell off the chair. Didn't push it. No, it jumped. You okay, buddy? Okay. But the same government will tell us that heroin's good. Heroin's okay. And you sit there and you're going, no, that's not true, Jason, you fucking liar. That's not true. But the same government will tell us that heroin's good. Heroin's okay. And you sit there and you're going, no, that's not true, Jason, you fucking liar. That's not true. You stupid ass, you stupid liar. That's not true. Yeah, it is, dude. You know why? OxyContin. Synthetic heroin. Morphine. Heroin. Pretty much all of your fucking barbiturates and all your downers and shit is gonna be heroin, opium based. You know what I mean? Or a synthetic version of. So all these people who love Xanax, oh yeah, man, and it's so fucking cool that you can put them on your hip hop album, y'all. Put Xanax bars on your hip hop album, and then put a purple fucking filter over it, and you got yourself a hip hop album. That's how socially acceptable and cool it is to pop pills. Xanax. Think about how that makes you feel. Well, that ain't fucking speed and cocaine, son. That's fucking opium or heroin. I've taken plenty of pills. I know what it is. I know the game. I know exactly how it goes. And it's like, Valium, OxyContin, morphine, Percocet's pretty fucking good. You got, what is it? What was those ones we used to call the soma coma? How we used to get ourselves in the soma coma, so somas. You got the Narcos. That was back in fucking middle school, junior high, whatever you want to call it. But the fact is, that's all. As long as there's a label with your name on it, it's all fucking good. It's all golden. Yeah. Those are good. Take those. Take those. Take those. Prescription pills of any kind. If it's I take some stuff for bipolar. And I am gonna say that out loud, and I'm not ashamed of it, because it's just a term. It's just a a label that's been given to me. And I take medication for that, and I'd like to not do that, because I just don't know that it's doing anything for me. I feel like I can do it on my own. And they would probably say, well, Jason, that's just part of the mental illness that you have, thinking you can fix this on your own, but it's an incurable disease. You have to keep taking the medications. I miss them intentionally sometimes, just to be kind of like go fuck yourself. Even though no one will know but me, really, but I still do it, and I'm just like, So, I do say, if, definitely skip your medications. Do that. Oh, you're supposed to, your doctor said you can never miss one of your pills. Never miss a pill. I invite you tonight or tomorrow morning to literally walk by that pill bottle and say, fuck you. I'm not even going to open you. In fact, go over there and flick it over with a finger and just laugh and walk away. Totally joking. I'm so joking. Yeah, because once again, how many times I gotta tell you? I mean, this is gonna be the third time, guys. I'm not a doctor. So if you listen to that, that's on you. Definitely on you. Well, I think I've said enough on this podcast, and I definitely, if nothing else, I have for sure fucking spaced out and zoned out, and who knows, maybe I'll have to edit some of this shit out. Maybe I won't. But all I know is this, guys. I'm gonna leave off with something to think about. Really consider what you're being told by the government and these people who believe in the government, and the people who watch the news and believe in the news. Everyone who believes in the status quo and what's quote-unquote right and quote-unquote legal, these are laws of men. Laws that were made by men, that we didn't agree to these laws. I didn't agree to some of this shit that we're having to abide by. It's bullshit. That's why I don't like it and I don't subscribe to it. I'm not saying to break the law. I would never say that, because let me tell you what following the law is playing the game. Now, if you want to go to jail and all that, well, then you didn't play the game right. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. You got to play the game, but I promise you there's a lot of loopholes. So thing about this, is don't stop listening to the mainstream, okay? Because they want to control your mind. Listen to your mind. And if you say, well, Jason, I don't know how to do that, well, get out a pen and a paper and just start writing. That's a great start. But the better start would be to do some psychedelics. What you need to know beyond that is have a safe place to do it with no questionable bullshit. Nothing that you're gonna get thrown into a weird, fucked up situation. Have all of your orders all of your affairs in order. Make sure you have food, water, plenty of cigarettes or weed or whatever vices it is that you need. And also, guys, make sure if you're gonna do a dose of 5 grams plus, definitely try to have someone with you if you're not experienced. Because you can get into some real weird places, and sometimes you just need that shaman or that person to be your medium there, that's going to help you kind of like guide you back onto your journey and onto your path and into your journey. So reconsider what you've been told every day about everything. Question everything. And that's why I say, it's like, do you believe in what you've been told, or do you question the world around you? And you really should go with the latter, which is question the world around you. We all live here. Things aren't going to get figured out if we just go with what we're told. And so with that being said, you're inside Jason's mind. Mind.
know. Do what your mind tells you, not what the government tells you. Boom, pow.